can do LCQ stuff too. I'll start there, actually. Welcome to DirtTrackDigest.tv Power Hour. It is the post-race show for the DIRTcar Sportsman 75 as well as the Billy Whitaker's Cars and Trucks 200 load-in pre-race. My name's Adam Buchanan, bringing you through all the recap action that we have had so far and what we are anticipating here. What will be a great Billy Whitaker's Cars and Trucks 200 as you see a live shot of what's going on just outside the midway section here at the Oswego Speedway, the Clay Palace, as the big block competitors getting ready to load in to the Clay Palace and do battle for 200 laps of modified ground-pounding action. We just saw an awesome DIRTcar Sportsman in Great Lakes 75, as again you see the big block modifieds rolling in. We have Buddy Matt Williamson and company rolling to the gate here as we're getting ready to roll with the Billy Whitaker's Cars and Trucks 200. We just got done here with the DIRTcar Sportsman modified at Great Lakes 75. You saw the Rocket Richard Murtaugh from outside the front row with a dominant performance coming home with his first DIRTcar Sportsman modified Great Lakes 75 win. Emmett Waldron from the 7th starting spot had a late charge there on Murtaugh, but some contact down the backstretch, and Murtaugh was able to hold off a hard-charging Emmett Waldron, and well as Cody Manita, who finished on the 3rd step of the podium from the 9th starting spot. So Murtaugh, Emmett Waldron, and Cody Manita, the top 3 in the DIRTcar Sportsman Great Lakes 75. Shane Pecor started from way in the back. Your 30th starter ends up finishing in the 4th position, and Derek McGrew plus 13 spots to finish in the top 5. Tanner Warner, after coming together with a lap car in the late stages of the feature, comes home in the 6th spot. Tyler Corcoran plus 14 spots in the main event, finished 7th. Jessica Power finished 8th, and Tyler Pete was plus 23, coming home 9th. Nick Haywood, he was plus 21 in the feature event. He finished in the top 10. Chad Edwards in 11th, Zach Buff 12th. Tristan Lattiser plus 11, finished 13th. 14th was Zach Sabaka, and 15th was Cameron Tuttle. Dylan Matson 16th, Kevin Ridley 17th. Mike Fowler, tough break for the driver of the 410. He had problems before the green flag ever dropped. Believe it is transmission issues on the 410, which really hurt his performance in the Great Lakes 75. As again, if you're watching live on Facebook Live or on YouTube, there is the midway section here of the Clay Palace, the Oswego Speedway. This is an interactive show, so if you're out there watching our pre- and post-race coverage, shoot me a message. Let me know who your prediction is to win the Billy Whittaker Cars and Trucks 200, which is getting set to roll here momentarily. As, again, we had a wild and woolly Great Lakes 75 for the DIRTcar Sportsman. And, again, we're going to try to get the top three. Richard Murtaugh is your winner, with Emmett Waldron finishing second and Cody Manita in third. A huge points race for Emmett Waldron, so he thought, but Shane Pecor rallied from the 30th starting spot to finish fourth. As, again, another great shot of what's happening here in the midway section as the car is getting ready to load in here for the DIRTcar Big Block Modifieds. They had the big blocks on the racetrack earlier here this afternoon, and the last chance showdowns ended up going down. They took three from each of the last three last chance showdowns. In last chance showdown number one, Gary Tompkins. We had him on the show earlier here today. He ended up leading every lap and finishing in front. Ryan Godown. This show must be good luck, as Modown Go Down, as they were calling him earlier here on the show. He came from deep to finish in the second spot, and Matt Stengel is your final qualifier in last chance showdown number one. Unfortunately, Rusty Smith, Bob McGannon, James Meacham, Brian Swartout, and company unable to make the show here in last chance showdown number one. Then we had last chance showdown number two, and that one was a little wild. Had a couple cars getting upside down in that one. The Rooter, Todd Root out of Warners, New York, locks himself into the show. Matt Caprera came home second, and Brian Calabrese had a heck of a battle with Eric Rudolph finishing third. So Calabrese, with his third place finish in last chance showdown number two, locks himself into the show, and unfortunately sends Eric Rudolph, a big shocker, on his way home, as well as Chris Holzhauser, Justin Stone, Danny Johnson, Dave Rauscher, Glenn Stiers, and Brandon Walters, the top 10. Larry White was out there. Unfortunately, he got in a little jingle. Larry is leaning on the past champions provisional, so Larry White into the show and was more or less using last chance showdown number two as a testing session. As, again, on Facebook Live as well as YouTube Live, I can see your comments, so let us know here on DIRTtrackDigest.tv what your prediction is for tonight's Billy Whittaker's Cars and Trucks 200. AJ watching from home, he said, Williamson, get the broom out. As Matty with 1T, Matt Williamson, came home and was your three-time Salute to the Troops 150 winner. He's looking to get the broom out and win the big 200 lapper here, as the cars and crews loading into the Clay Palace here at the Clay Racetrack, as we're getting ready to go, as the midway lively as ever. We're getting going here, and it's starting to pick up the hustle and bustle as the DIRTcar Championship getting ready here with the big block modifieds, and it has been a great week of racing so far. Mother Nature playing kind with us, as it has been sprinkling on and off, but doesn't seem to be a factor as fans and families alike load in and get ready to go for 200 laps, as a lot of people have Matt Williamson as the heavy favorite. We talked to him throughout the course of the week. We also spoke to another driver who feels like he's got his best shot at winning the 200 in as many years. That is the Beeville Bandit, Jimmy Phelps. We talked to him earlier here in the pre-race show, and he said this is the strongest he feels going in with a car to the Billy Whittaker's Cars and Trucks 200 here at Oswego. Everybody misses the mile, but this place is a lot racier, and I tell you what, the Beeville Bandit will be a threat to contend here in tonight's 200 lapper, as we're getting the lineups here for the Billy Whittaker's Cars and Trucks 200 fired up here. We have Matt Williamson and another driver who's impressed here this week in both the big block and the small block, the 70A of Alex Payne on the outside of the front row here for this one. as Gary Lindbergh and Colby Schroeder. Colby, another story here of the Billy Whitaker Cars and Trucks 200, as him and his crew did not have plans to originally come and run this event. Then he won the Mr. USA Championship, an automatic starter into this race, and then locked himself into the Super 6 with his qualifying effort. We had him on the show earlier here in the week, and he just is happy to be here. Justin Harris, another driver who's been a perennial contender at the Land of Legends Raceway, a track similar to this one. We'll start from inside of row number 3. The White Knight, Mark Johnson, in car number 9. Man, he has had an up and down week this week, and he also has a really good history of being pretty good at this racetrack as well. Watch for him. Another driver that we're on the lookout for, a part of Team DIRTtrackDigest.tv, is the 83X of Tim Sears Jr. He feels confident in his Troyer race car here tonight. Did not make the small block event, and he was very upset about that. But if anything, that's given him and his crew even more time to get that big block car ready, as the merchandise, from what I've been told by the vendors here, flying off the shelves here this week, as they are running out of pretty much everything. So if you want yourself a T-shirt or sweatshirt here to commemorate the 53rd annual running of Super Dirt Week, get it now before the merch is gone. Another driver who has had quite an interesting week has been the 84Y of Alex Jankowski, as he takes the reins of the Hallmar Friesen ride, and he will be, the Covington Township, Pennsylvania, will be the shoe behind the car that is actually the defending race car of this event, as Jankowski will start inside of row number 5, the 9th starter, as James Friss is on YouTube, and he says Kid Rocket. Kid Rocket, definitely a threat, and he was one of the cars that originally found the high side of the racetrack before anybody else in competition last night and made his way through the field. Ryan Mitchell, watching on Facebook, says it's Jimmy Phelps' time to win the big one. I agree. He has a salute to the troops. 150 win under his belt at Syracuse, but man, would he love to find himself in victory lane at the end of 200 laps here tonight. I also saw another fan said Felix Waugh. Felix is definitely a driver who's been watching the track very closely all day here today. I caught the last chance showdowns up at the America Gate earlier here today, and Felix was actually standing right next to me and talking about the racetrack. He likes how juiced the racetrack looks. He says it's bad fast. And Zach at home said they went to the top way sooner than I thought. That is where the grip is for sure, as I know the Sportsman drivers were primarily running the bottom of the racetrack, so there is still definitely some grip up there on the top. And it wouldn't shock me if some drivers like Felix Waugh, who starts on the outside of row number 8, your 16th starter, goes up there quickly at the start of this one. Max McLaughlin, another story here this week. He'll start from the 15th starting spot, a driver who has not had very much seat time in any modified here this year, as we got fans getting gathered here doing the gritty. Yep, I see you out there, as they are ready to rip. It has been known as racing's biggest party, and they're getting ready to party out there. I don't know what that dance move was, but I digress, as you see the mules loading in, getting ready to go, as they're tacking in the infield, I am being told. So unfortunately, we will not have any of the Sportsman drivers, as the scrutineering will take place here for the DIRTcar Sportsman Modifieds. And I know tech has been a major concern for a lot of drivers here, as Matt Williamson had to take a header out of the motor to tech the 358, and I'm sure tech will be as equally as scrutineering in the Billy Whitaker's Cars and Trucks 200. If you're home watching on Facebook or YouTube, let us know. Give us a shout. This is an interactive pre-race show for the Billy Whitaker's Cars and Trucks 200. Let me know who you think will come home in victory lane after this one. A lot of people putting their money on Matt Williamson, trying to cash in and go 2 for 2. Another dark horse is a driver we had on the pre-race show earlier, Billy Van Inwagen. He'll start from the 25th starting spot. Another driver to be on the lookout for is Darren Smith. He was very strong in the 358. The big block has struggled early here this week, but the crew has got that car dialed in as a Jeffries crew chief, Scott Jeffries. We all know his pedigree from his work with the 91 of Billy Decker in years past. Will be a threat with Darren Smith behind the wheel as Zach feels like Felix Waugh to the top. It would not surprise me if Felix rips the lip early as soon as the green flag drops here for the Billy Whittaker's Cars and Trucks 200. For all of you joining on YouTube and Facebook, thanks for coming on in and joining the pre-race show. Joe Bruno says, Super Matt, 9S. Yeah, I tell you what, Matt looked good in the small block. He's got some work ahead of him in the big block as he'll go on the outside of row number 10, your 20th starter. I know 200 laps is a long time around here, and pit strategy most definitely will play a factor in this 200-lap affair. Never count out the 10-time series champion, Super Matt Shepard. Another driver to look out for is Watertown, New York's Billy Dunn, a former winner of this event back at the mile. He will start inside of row number 10, your 19th starter. And Billy Dunn, when the lights shine the brightest, Billy Dunn is one to watch out for. Guy is saying Yankowski with 2 S's. Yes, Alex and that Hallmark Friesen Racing team definitely will be one to watch out for, as Alex has been proven to be a young shoe that can get the job done, and he is in a car that won this event 1 year ago. I know Stu is here. He is doing well, recovering from his injuries, and he is chomping at the bit here this time as a crew chief behind the wheel of the 84Y. It's got to be hard for Stu, the defending race winner, to be on the sidelines to watch this, as you see, Joe Gosick out here. He's got plenty of laps around here in a super modified, having a chat with our own DIRTtrackdigest.com, Bill Foley, as Double O Joe, believe it or not, has some dirt car experience in a Sportsman modified, I believe, here and at the high banks of the Fulton Speedway. Zach G asked from home, at any track prep? Yes, they'll be doing some, but I don't anticipate much, as the track crew behind me is doing some work massaging the surface. I know they're trying to roll the top in a little better as we get going here pre-race for the Billy Whittaker's Cars and Trucks 200. Its fans are rolling in aplenty, as a lot of big smiles. Mother Nature definitely helping us out a little bit, and I believe the schedule change with having it under the lights is definitely going to benefit the drivers and the track. Stand for the Truth says, anybody but Daddy's Money Matt. I believe that is Matt with 1 T referring to, not Matt with 2 T's. Great try on that one. He definitely likes the fact that not a whole lot of drivers have looked as strong as he has here this week, and he's definitely up to the challenge and getting the broom out. But I know a lot of drivers feeling more comfortable after everything that's gone on this week, trying to get their cars in the best shape. Like I said, we had Jimmy Phelps on the pre-race earlier here today, and he said this car that he's got, this Bicknell with the Dig Race Product shocks on it, is definitely the best piece he's had since we've moved Super Dirt Week to Oswego. As again, a live look at the pit area here. There is track prep going on right now as we get prepared. You see Tyler Peets, number 12, just getting done doing battle with the Great Lakes 75, concluding here. Joe Bruno from home says Super Matt 9S. Yeah, he is definitely a threat anytime you have a long distance race. There's a couple drivers starting up front who really don't have a whole lot of long race experience. One of those drivers be the 70A of Alex Payne. He did have a good run for himself there in the small block race, and he's been even better in the big block here this week. James says, let's not forget Smooth Shoe, Mike Mahaney. Yes, Mike, the King Ferry, New York native, now calling Elizabethtown, New York, his home. He will start inside the top 10 in the 10 spot as you're getting a look at the Pit Stop Convenience Stores number 4 of Emmett Waldron, who came home runner-up in the Great Lakes 75. As he looked to the outside a handful of times to try to get by the 33 machine. But unfortunately for Emmett, the move did not work, as he actually had to get on the binders. I was sitting right there on the backstretch, and I think Murtaugh heard him on the outside and then decided to do a little lane change, block the move, and lap traffic really did not help Emmett at all either, as it got pretty thick towards the end, and you thought maybe if, lap traffic helped him out a little more, that he could have tried to catch Murtaugh, but he was fighting Cody Manita, trying to stave off Manita a little bit in the closing stages of the 75-lap event, and that just really allowed Murtaugh to run away in the closing stages of the DIRTcar Sportsman finale. As again, thank you all for joining us here. Don't forget, let me know here, as it's an interactive pre-race show here for the Billy Whitaker's Cars and Trucks 200. Let me know who you think the favorite is here tonight on YouTube and on Facebook, as we're getting ready to drop the green flag shortly for the Super Dirt Week 53 here at the Oswego Speedway. And got to give our flowers to the track crew, as they've had some curveballs thrown at them here this week. It did rain a couple times. Some holes did develop, but they are the best in the business. They've patched those holes, and to be honest with you, the track, despite having a couple ripples in it, it's been pretty glass tabletop smooth here this week, and we had some sprinkles on and off here today, but nothing too outrageous that the track crew hasn't handled it. And if anything, it's really helped the track surface a little bit, keep a little bit of that moisture in the racing surface, as there's still plenty of grip up on the top side of the racetrack, as you're getting a good look at some of the crowd here forming on the back stretch for the Billy Whitaker's Cars and Trucks 200. I have someone asking me on Twitter, who do I think has the upper hand in tonight's race? It's really tough to say. There is definitely a couple drivers I have an eye out for. I really think Jimmy Phelps has looked really good this week, and he feels really confident in his race here, as we have the Monster Bash. Yeah, if Mike Mallett was here, he'd be jumping up and down. Thunder Mountain Speedway, October 31st, November 1st, the last race here in upstate New York, as that will be on DIRTtrackdigest.tv. And I tell you what, Alex Payne is another driver I would keep my eyes on, as I think having the 150 under his belt, it will most definitely benefit him with these long-distance races, having that under his belt, and also being alongside Matt Williamson. He's been able to keep pace with Shepard and Williamson throughout the course of the week, and having a starting spot up front and kind of see how Matt's car is working and where the line is most definitely might help out Alex Payne in the early going. Gary Lindbergh, Gary is definitely another driver who's no slouch behind the wheel of the 37S, and the Ridgeway, Ontario native. Also another driver who really in the last couple years here at Super Dirt Week has performed very well and is comfortable here in the switch to the races here at Oswego, and with aero not being a factor, not having to put on those special Syracuse bodies, has definitely helped the car count here at the Speedway. And a lot of these drivers don't have to do too awful much to get their cars in working order to prepare and to race here at the Oswego Speedway, which has been a very nice change of pace here this season. As taking a look at the lineup, there will be a couple provisional starters here as the last chance showdowns. Gary Tompkins, Ryan Godown, and Matt Stengel, as I mentioned, were the top three in the last chance showdown number one, as Todd Root, Matt Caprera, and Brian Calabrese won the top three in the last chance showdown number two. The provisional starters will be Eric Rudolph in the 25, going to take a provisional, as is Jack Lehner, the Ginger Ninja, in the 2. Justin Stone and Marcus Dinkins both getting provisionals, as they were full-time regulars on the Super DIRTcar Series this year. And the 41st and final starter here tonight will be Lightning Larry White, a former race winner of this very event, will get the 41st and final starting spot in tonight's 200-lap event. As, again, you get a live look at what's going down here. And there is the postman, Amaran's own Steve Post. Big old smile on his face as he's got the double thumbs up ready to go, as he's been a blast to have on the program all week, as it is his first Super Dirt week. And he mentioned that he hasn't had the opportunity, the way his schedule's been, to make it to the Clay Palace, but this year being the year, and he's really loved what's going on, and he's gotten the full Super Dirt Week experience, and he's gonna swing in here and save my bacon here, as it's been tough being a single-man show. And Steve Post, we're getting ready for the Billy Whitaker's Cars and Trucks 200. You saw the DIRTcar Sportsman 75, and I could just see it on your face. You're ready to roll.
I am so ready to roll. I'm overeaten. I've over-talked to people. I've over-talked about this. It's time to find out who is the champion of this event, and it's so exciting. It really, truly is. What an amazing event. What so much fun. I mean, it's just I literally am thinking about this, and I'm like, this is like, I don't know that I can handle any more excitement. So I want to just kind of like chill. I don't want to talk to anybody tomorrow, but I'm going to be so sad when it's over. You know, it's like it's after the holidays. We deal with this with the Knoxville Nationals. The Sunday after the Knoxville Nationals is single-handedly the best day and the worst day. The best day because you're just wore out, and it's wore out. You know, my past story used to be wore out with partying. Now it's just pour out with adrenaline and excitement and thrills and fun. And I just can't wait to see what happens with this race and just the storylines going into this thing. I have no idea what's going to happen here, and that's a great thing. I'm telling you, it's so exciting. It really, truly is.
You almost need a day off, not to recover from the partying, but just the adrenaline dump of once it's over.
I used to be, and my backstory is I partied really, really hardy for a long time. So, yes, I used to need a day off for partying. Now I just need a day off from the excitement. So it's good. Zach wants to know if they're doing any track prep between the races. No. We are on full speed ahead with this program here. I don't even know if I want to say anything. We've been dodging a whole lot of stuff falling from the sky, and it's been really, really good, and they are full speed ahead. So no track prep ahead. We are getting ready to go. Drivers are already in line. They're getting ready to be introduced. It's about showtime here at Oswego.
And it's been wild because normally if you're from the Oswego area, you know we often get more weather, oddly, than it stayed away, it stayed away. I mean, there's a nor'easter coming up the coast, and we've dodged every bit of it so
I
far.
can't wait for this race to be over so I can talk about the weather. Okay, that's it. I'm not gonna be the one. I'm not gonna be the one. So it is so exciting. It really, truly is, and I just cannot wait to get in here and see what's going on. My God, it's gonna be awesome.
You've got to know some of the guys watching, weekly when you're not working NASCAR, but also being fully enveloped in this week. Who do you think is the favorite going into tonight?
I don't know. That's such a tough call. It's so tough you have a guy like Matt Shepard. It's like, and I talked to Randy Kosaki, his crew chief, and he said we're just not hooked up with the big block. Well, yeah, but it's Matt Shepard. So, you have that. You have Matt Williamson, who's just so good here at this racetrack. And I think this race, when you look at some of the other veteran drivers, I think it's really, really good. But then you have some of the young guys. What about Alex Payne? He has looked so strong here. He's looked so good. What about
he looked good in the 150
yeah,
too.
he did. Yeah, he did. He looked really good in the 150. So I think this thing is wide open. I really do. And I don't really know that I even have a sense. And again, part of it is just I follow this, but I follow it peripherally, so I don't see all the details of it. But I have no clue on this thing. Gosh, it's a loaded field, it's a stacked field, and it could go any direction.
What has been the biggest takeaway for you here this week?
Woo! It's called the world's greatest party, or the racing's biggest party. I'm telling you, it is absolutely insane. I love the racing has been so good. I know we focus so much on the racing. I love the racing, but I love this event. The gathering, the partying, the meeting of friends. People come to this event and see each other once a year. And I'll tell you another thing that's really been interesting to me is the melding of the Oswego crowd and the dirt crowd. Over in turn number 4, there's a group of the safety workers for Oswego. They're there. They've been there drinking beer all weekend long. I busted their chops this morning. I said, did you guys even leave? And that sort of thing. I was talking to Randy Ritzkis down there. Randy's a Hall of Famer. He's running a food truck down here, Macarolin it is. It's the macaroni and cheese food truck. And I was talking to him. He's a 2015 Hall of Famer for Oswego Speedway. He started running dirt modifieds, but he's hanging out down here running this food truck because he wants to be part of Super Dirt. I think that's the other thing is like let's talk about dirt's for racing, asphalt's for getting there, blah, blah, blah. This has brought Oswego and dirt racing together. So I think that's a couple of the takeaways, but just the event itself is so amazing.
And one group of people we really have to give a shout out, and I briefly touched on it, is the you don't realize how much goes into it behind the scenes. Yes, the racing is definitely foremost in front of people's eyes, but the planning, Brian Carter with DIRTcar, and how they got everything together, being the CFO, and he's, going everywhere. He was at the National Open last week. He raced the DIRTcar Pro Stock. Then he's trying to get this together. And then the track crew. What a lot of people don't see is when we wrap up at night, 9 times out of 10, they're on the racetrack still, trying to get it worked in. And then the safety crew, there's people working the Canada gate, the American gate, the Canadian gate, the Australian gate, getting cars in and out so fluidly, not holding up what could be a very long show. And those are the unsung heroes of this event.
The behind-the-scenes people, woo! All right, yes, so we're having yes, that's what I'm talking about. Preach it. On your weekly short track, there's so many unsung heroes. There's so many people that do it, and you have to multiply this by how many times, because this is a temporary surface, and this is such a massive event. Your weekly short track, you have X number of concession stand helpers. You need to have X times 10 here, and just getting everybody in, the logistics of going around, it's been absolutely amazing. It really, truly has. It's so much fun to watch.
Absolutely. Robert Fitzpatrick, you guys are great. Well, we greatly appreciate you for sticking around and watching us here on Facebook
Hey, what's going on, man? How are you?
And YouTube as the midway section is getting as lively as ever.
I think we're ready to see some racing.
Yes, James. Hey, Postman, glad you came out.
James, you are not nearly as happy that I came out as I am. So I'm sorry. I'm gonna trump you on that. You're happy I came out. I'm tenfold to that. So it's really cool.
So I think the pageant.
I heard the phrase that pays for you.
Yes, this is one of my favorite lines that I use for every sprint car race. This is the point of tonight's program where the pageantry stops.
Yes.
And the right foot stomps. We are there. Steve Post, it is time to go racing. The Billy Whittaker's Cars and Trucks 200 getting ready to roll. We're not done with our coverage. However, after the races, we're going to try to get the top 3, and we're going to recap the Billy Whittaker's Cars and Trucks 200, talk to the top 3, and put a bow on what's been a great Super Dirt Week 53. So after the race, after you tune on Dirt Vision or after you're here, stop by. we'll have a post-race recap here with myself, Mike Mallett, and maybe even we'll rope in Steve
I might
Post.
stick around because I like talking racing.
There
I'll
you
stick
go.
around, that's
so,
for sure.
For those of you watching at home, enjoy the coverage on
Hey,
Dirt
man.
Vision. For those of you here in the Midway section, stay warm, have fun. The Billy Wickler's Cars and Trucks 200 will be on track shortly. For everyone watching at home, we will see you on the post-race show.